Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, dear students. This is your lecturer for Principles of Marketing. I am here to at least ensure that we cover one topic and also that I'm not sure that our next lecture, which is supposed to be on 11th of October, I'm not sure whether I'll be around, and that's why I have decided to have this as an emergency, since the other week we also did not attend. So I felt it necessary that we should do something now. And sometimes when I see that time is against us, sometimes I can go through the other channels of delivering the lectures. And today, members, you are going to view this thing as a link in your WhatsApp group, but it will connect you to my YouTube account where you'll attend or get to attend the lecture. And my main aim here today is to ensure that we cover at least one topic, and that is topic number 4, if I can remember very well, and it involves issues to do with the marketing segmentation. It involves issues to do with the market targeting, and it involves issues to do with the market positioning. Members, these are abbreviated as STP. That means segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Members, today our lecture is going to rotate around these words. It is my prayer that with this small piece of lecture or this small piece of information, that you are able to understand, and henceforth you will not have problems with the terms segmentation, targeting, and the positioning. It's my prayer anyway. So when we talk about these three terms in general or in the overview, I might say that when we are going to engage to do our marketing, it may not be necessary to reach everyone. It may not be necessary that your information actually goes to everyone. Why? Because this information trying to reach everyone might be at cost. And since it is at cost, this might not be good for your organization. It might not be good for your business, depending, of course, on the size and nature of the business. Of course, we understand there are strategies or marketing strategies where businesses target everyone. And we're saying this depends on the scale or the size of the organization or the size of the business. But in this case, regardless of the size, sometimes it becomes necessary for us to identify who exactly can actually be able to benefit from our products. It's very important for us to be able to identify from which people or from which category of people that we are able to benefit most from. Of course, we might be able to benefit from all the groups, but where do we benefit most? Where do we expect cost-wise to be effective, that we're not going to spend much, and so on and so forth. So because of these reasons, we tend not to go for everyone when it comes to our marketing. We tend to go for the people we know we can be able to turn into we can be able to turn into customers or active customers who are going to be ready to buy. In other words, as we are doing marketing, we shall look at the efforts that we have made in the marketing vis-a-vis the impacts of what we have done, the marketing efforts that we have put forth, how has it impacted our business. And that is very important, and therefore we're saying that sometimes or most times when we don't plan, when we don't know whom we want to serve, that can become a problem for us. And that's why we're saying it is therefore necessary for us to do segmentation and then targeting and also positioning ourselves in the markets. So members, that is an overview of what segmentation, targeting and positioning is all about. Basically, it's all about trying to identify your market and serving it better. The three stand for identifying the appropriate market and serving it better. So members, without wasting time, we're saying that we are going direct into what market segmentation actually is. So when we look at the word segment, segment meaning that there are divisions. When we talk about segments, these are divisions that exist or that we create ourselves in the market, and they are meant to serve a purpose. And to define the term segmentation, we're saying that market segmentation is a marketing term that refers to aggregating prospective buyers into groups or segments with common needs and who respond similarly to a marketing action. So we're saying that marketing segmentation, please note the keywords. One is aggregating prospective buyers, meaning coming with all the people you think have ability or that you think might need your product, coming with all of them and grouping them into their different characteristics. These characteristics could be based on gender, it could be based on geographical location, it could be based on how the perception of the consumers or the perception of that market. We could divide that market in that manner. So it's aggregating prospective buyers into groups. These groups are what we call as the segments. With common needs, take note, common needs, we can only call a group to be a segment if it shares common needs. That means they have common desires, they have common needs, their wants are actually the same, and who respond similarly to a marketing action. So whenever you pass a communication to that group, which we call as a segment, they are going to understand it, they are going to analyze it, they are going to form a perception, a similar perception about the communication that you have passed, and that makes it to be a segment. Otherwise, if their needs, if we have grouped the market, but at the end their needs are not the same, then that could not be a market segment or a segmentation, as we say, that you have really done. Or if they respond differently, if they are not going to respond in the same manner, then we have not done segmentation or we haven't done it appropriately. If their needs are not the same, then we have not done our segmentation appropriately. If their actions towards the messages that we pass are going to be different, then that cannot be a market segment. Are we together? So therefore, for it to qualify to be a market segment, it must be able to share some needs. It must be able to share needs, and also importantly, that the communications that we pass in form of advertisements that we pass, they are going to relate to them in a positive way, in the same way also. And of course, even if in a negative way, but as long as they are responding to it in a negative, in the same way, that means they share some common qualities, and that's what we're looking for, to group them in one. You never know, they may have a negative action or reaction towards an advert, but when we change to another one, then maybe they will have a similar reaction. We have said that if your business is targeting the youth, and especially youth who are males of the 21st century, you might need to target them in entertainment, and this ranges from sports to other activities, of course. And for example, here locally, if I remember those days, these days I'm not sure, but those days we used to have sports news, and this could come from across the radio stations. And the youth, even after listening from one radio station about the sports, they will change to another radio station, still to get the same information. It makes them excited, so they react to that information the same way. So what we are saying is that if you have a marketing message to send targeting the youth as a segment, and particularly the segment of youth who are males, then it will be good for you to wait for those times of sports, because they are going to get, all of them are going to at least get the information. And if you're dealing in sports activities or sports items, then that could be the right time to capture them. So members, it's very important that in your business, or as you do business, you be able to segment the market. The reason is that due to very many factors, you're not going to be able to serve the whole market. And that's why those of you who have businesses, you are not serving the whole of Arua, or you're not serving the whole of Yumbe. Neither are you serving the whole of Terego, or Maracha, or Koboko. You are targeting some particular place. You're targeting maybe your local area, maybe your local market. Maybe your business is targeting the females in your community. Maybe it is targeting the business community. Maybe it is targeting the salary earners. What we are saying is that there are things that they share in common. It could be their way of earning. It could be where they are located. It could be based on their gender, that we can actually be able to form market segments. So as I repeat, that market segmentation is a marketing term. Important. It's a marketing term that refers to aggregating prospective buyers into groups or segments with common needs and who respond similarly to a marketing action. The marketing action could include, of course, things like advertisement, things like promotion, and so on and so forth. So market segmentation enables companies to target different categories of consumers who perceive the full value of certain products and services differently from one another. Why do we segment? Is because we want to cater for all the needs of the market that we want to venture into. That market we want to enter into, we want to be able to serve them better. Because as the saying goes that one man's meat is another's poison, the way I may like to serve a Lugbara man might not be the same way I should serve a Muganda man, because we are shaped by different things. and therefore we are not going to behave the same way. So it's therefore very important for us to know that serving consumers better, serving our customers better, is very important that we segment them. Another reason could be that failure to do segmentation, we might be looking at the wrong customers. So when we look at the wrong customers, as I said in previous lectures, that we might be wasting time, because these are customers who cannot buy due to different reasons or due to different factors that are known to you or them. They may not be in a position to buy your product. One reason could be that you are marketing a good product in a wrong market. You are marketing a good product in a wrong market. So when you do that, because you don't know, you don't have information about this market, then for sure you're going to provide a wrong product, and that will have a setback in your business. That will definitely result into losses, because when you advertise and you don't see the impact, the positive impact, of course, when you don't see it, then that is not a good thing. So we should always want to serve our customers. We should always serve our customers better, and the only way we can serve the customers better is when we segment them. And why we segment them? Because we want to put them in different categories that we are able to understand them the way they want to be understood, and therefore be able to serve them better as per their demands, because the needs in these segments are not the same, and that's why we decided to form those segments. We can also say that market segmentation can be defined as a marketing strategy. You should know that it is a strategy that we are doing segmentation. It is a strategy. Why it is a strategy is something that we hope to use or to apply that will benefit our business. That we hope to that it will, by using it, it will benefit our business, and therefore we are saying it is a strategy in which select group of consumers are identified, so that certain products or product lines can be presented to them in a way that appeals to their interests. Dear members, before you do a segmentation, that means you must have understood the market. And that means you must have conducted a research. That means you must have conducted a market research about the people you want to serve. And that will help you still in serving them better. So you must do a research before you can do a segmentation, because the research is going to help you to understand whom you are dealing with, what type of perceptions, attitudes they possess, what kind of genders they possess, and so on and so forth. But basically, what is just psychological content? What is the psychology that they have? What is the attitude that they have? How do you get to know about the attitudes that they have if you don't conduct research? So we identify the products that we want to market to these groups, because we are not going to get all our products and take to everyone, because not everyone is the same. As we shall know that there is also something called demographic segmentation, and among which includes income level. So you are not going to market your expensive things in a village where you know people barely get 1,000 in a day. You're not going to be selling or marketing your products of 1 million, products of 1 million in a village where people barely make 1,000 in a day. You will be targeting the wrong market. But when you know the people, then things can become easy. I've ever given you, or if you have never given, then I'm reminding you that there are some business people who are supplying utensils. I think they are Egyptians. They supply utensils, but they're not looking for everyone. They're not targeting everyone. I'm sure they have done their segmentation, so they know which groups of the markets that they can be able to approach. And one of the segments that they have formed that I'm sure of is that they have targeted the staff of universities. They have targeted the staff of universities. Let me hope I'm not causing confusion, because I'm talking of segmentation at the same time also targeting. But my main interest here is segmentation. But of course, once we segment this market, at the end we are going to opt for particular ones while ignoring the others. And when we do that, the ones we consider are the ones we are calling as our targets. They are the ones we are calling targets that we want to focus our interests on, that we want to serve. After, of course, a thorough investigation that we have the ability to serve them, and that they are potential customers whom we can turn into buying customers or buying consumers. So we are saying that market segmentation is a marketing strategy in which select groups of consumers are identified so that certain products or product lines can be presented to them in a way that appeals to their interests. One is that in a way that you're going to deliver these products in the channels that they like, in the channels that you are sure will reach them, using communication medias that you know will be able to reach them, and so on and so forth. So basically what we should know that market segmentation is the process of dividing a broad population into subgroups. Why subgroups? Because they have different needs according to certain shared factors. Of course, they also share certain factors, meaning that one group has common characters, but which common characters are different from the other segment. That means they are not the same. That means for us to consider that we have segments, then one segment must be different from the other segment in terms of the qualities, the characteristics that they share. What we should know is that market segmentation is an extension of market research. As I said before, that market segmentation is an extension of market research that seeks to identify targeted groups of consumers to tailor products and branding in a way that is attractive to their group. We said market segmentation is an extension of market research. I remember saying that before you can segment the market into those groups, you need to understand the characteristics of that market. Only when you understand the characteristics of the market, then you cannot be able to segment them. When you understand them, then you can be able to know that the people from this side, or the consumers of this size, or this place, or this income level behave in this manner. Then we're able to segment them. Members, the objective of market segmentation is to minimize risk Why we do segmentation is to ensure that we minimize risks. How do we minimize risks? By determining which products have the best chances of gaining a share of a target market. We avoid the risk because in the marketing segmentation, we get to understand which market offers for us the best option. This best option is in terms of what they can offer for the business, in terms of their number, of course, in terms of their ability also to purchase, of course, also in terms of our ability as a business to serve them where we can benefit most. So, when we segment, we avoid the risk of our products being rejected in the market, because we have done a research to understand them, and that's why we have grouped them that way. If we have surely understood them, then there's no need for them to reject our products, unless if our research was faulty research. Members, are we together? So, the objective of market segmentation is to minimize risk by determining which products have the best chances of gaining a share of a target market and determining the best way to deliver the products to the market. This allows the company to increase its overall efficiency by focusing limited resources on efforts that produce the best return on investment. Members, I promise that this lecture is going to be short, and my hope is that very soon we are going to end it. But as of now, for now, we are still continuing. So members, in summary, I am saying that market segmentation seeks to identify targeted groups of consumers to tailor products and branding in a way that is attractive to the group. 2 is that markets can be segmented in several ways, such as geographically, by location, demographically, by certain qualities, or behaviorally, or behavior-wise. We're also saying that market segmentation helps companies minimize the risk by figuring out which products are the most likely to earn a share of a target market and the best ways to market and deliver those products to the market. With the risk minimized and clarity about the marketing and delivery of a product heightened, a company can then focus its resources on efforts likely to be the most profitable. So members, we have looked at market segmentation, and therefore what is a market segment? We're saying that a market segment is a group of people who share one or more common characteristics, lumped together for marketing purposes. We are doing in this matter, or in this case, the segmentation for marketing purposes, so that the communication that we pass can be received in the same way, with the same mood and the same reactions. So companies can generally use 3 criteria to identify different market segments. How do we then get to know that this is a segment and it's different from the other? We're saying that homogeneity, meaning from the word homogeneous. Homogeneity refers to the degree to which members within a segment share similar characteristics, needs, and behaviors. So when we talk about the homogeneity, we're saying that for us to qualify a group or a market to be, or to form a segment,
They must be a characteristic of homogeneity whereby the people or the consumers in that same group are actually the same in terms or similar in terms of the characteristics that they possess, in terms of their needs, and in terms of the behaviors that they exhibit. Otherwise, if a segment is not possessing the quality of homogeneity, then that cannot be a segment. 2, distinction. We're saying distinction refers to the degree to which a segment is distinct from other segments. How then is the first segment different from the second segment? How is the second segment different from the fifth segment? How is the fifth segment different from the ninth segment? Is what we are calling as distinction. This might be manifested in terms of unique characteristics of segments from one another. Difference in needs and behavior is also key when it comes to distinction. So members, basically we are saying that if you have more than one segment, then there must be difference between the first segment and the other segments. So they must not be the same. We are not going to be able to form 2 segments for females if our target is to form segments for only females and the males. Unless it requires us to also form more segments within the females in terms of their ages, then we can do it. Otherwise, when we say females as one group, then we go another place or another side, we're also putting another female. So we have females group A, females group B, females group C. And all these are sharing the same characteristics. Group A has the same characteristics as group B. That would not form a segment. Unless if all of them are made into one to form one segment. So there must be a clear distinction. Number 3 is reaction. Reaction. We're saying reaction refers to the degree to which members within a segment respond similarly to marketing stimuli. Marketing stimuli basically means the environment, the marketing communication that we pass, how it will be perceived. The marketing communication that we pass out, how it affects their reaction, or it alters the reaction of the target or of a particular segment. So this is characterized by similar responses to marketing messages. Similar responses to marketing messages, promotions and products, predictable behavior and consistent feedback. So in other words, their reactions, if we can be able to predict them that they can be able to behave in the same manner, then that can be good to be a segment. So members, these were the criteria for identifying market segments. If we want to know that a segment exists, one is that there must be an element of homogeneity whereby they share common characteristics, needs, and the behaviors. Number 2 is distinction, that all the segments that were formed must be different from the other in terms of the needs, the characteristics, and behaviors that they possess. A reaction, we're saying, is another that refers to the degree to which members within a segment respond similarly to marketing stimuli. How do they respond similarly? When they receive an advert, when the youth hear about sports, what is their reaction? And you will find that their reaction is almost the same. So in that way, we expect high income earners, their responses to be the same. We expect low-income earners responses to be the same. We expect people of West Nile responses to be the same. We expect people from the Central to behave the same or respond the same to our marketing adverts. We expect the Europeans to behave differently from the Africans. Otherwise, they cannot form different segments also if they share or having the same. Unless we are focusing on geographic location, then we can be able to separate also based on that. So those were basically the three criteria. Please don't forget homogeneity is 1, distinction is 2, reaction is number 3. So therefore, what are those different types of marketing segmentation that exist? There might be more than this, but for now I have come up with 4. I am going to make sure I go fast over them. And they are basically geographical segmentation. We have demographic segmentation. We also have psychographic segmentation. And lastly, we have behavioral segmentation. From the word behavior. So the first one we're saying is the geographic segmentation. Geographic segmentation is a method of dividing a market into smaller groups based on geographic location. So in this matter, it's very simple. We divide the market into locations, geographical locations, where the customers come from is how we are going to divide them. Because we think that people in the same region might have similar characteristics, similar values, similar beliefs, therefore they are going to respond in the same way to our marketing activities. This type of segmentation is useful for businesses that operate in specific regions or have products that are more appealing to customers in certain geographic areas. So, assuming you're serving in very many areas or places, what we're saying is that you must be able to understand the people of that particular place and therefore be able to reach them in a different way than you reach the others, because the others are not the same to them. So if you go to the North African countries, you might need to do things differently. If you come to the Sub-Saharan Africa, you might need to do things differently. If you go to Southern Africa, you might still need to do things differently. And that's why I'm saying it's very important for us to understand the regions and therefore be able to serve them better. And that by that, we call them as what? Geographic segmentation. So geographic location is one of the simplest methods of segmenting the market. People living in one region of the country have purchasing and consuming habit which differs from those living in other regions. For example, banking needs of people in rural areas differ from those of urban areas. People in northern region of Uganda may have different consumption patterns and products. So we must be aware of that. You're not going to provide maybe a matoke for the northerners and you think they are going to eat it as their food. They will always consider it as an escort. You better provide the cassava flour, then they will know. But the same you're not going to do in the central. It's not going to be possible. So you must understand them in your business so that you can be able to benefit. And all this, for you to understand them, you need to do research. For you to understand the people of West Nile, you must have conducted the research about them. So geographic segmentation, splitting up your market based on their location, is a basic but highly useful segmentation strategy. A customer's location can help you better understand their needs and enable you to send out location-specific adverts. So we have types of geographical segmentation. So, and some of these are what we call as regional segmentation, meaning that we can divide our market into regions. For example, we have Western region or Western sub-region, we have Northern region, we have Acholi region, we have Lango region, we have Bugishu region, we have the central region, and so on and so forth. Because we expect in these regions, they must be sharing some things in common. The next is urban versus rural. That means we can also geographically segment our market into urban or rural segmentation. Meaning that the people of urban area, they might have some common shared values that they have learned in the urban areas, and therefore that makes them similar or the same. Likewise, in the villages where people maintain culture and their traditional values, we also expect because of that they are going to behave similar way. And that when we pass our marketing information, they're also going to behave in a similar way. Another could be climate-based segmentation. We know very well different places have different segmentations. I mean different climates. So therefore we can be able to segment the market into the different climates, such as tropical climate, temperate climate, or Arctic climate. Why? Because we expect the needs of people who are in tropical climate to have different needs than those who are living in semi-arid or desert climatic conditions. Definitely their needs are going to be different, and that's why we need to know and understand that the people who come from this type of climate, then demands are not the same as for the other people in the other regions. So that is one important one. Then we can also divide it into city size segmentation. City size segmentation. We're saying dividing a market into cities of different sizes, such as metropolitan areas, small towns, or villages. All these have a different impact on when it comes to marketing. Members, that is the geographical segmentation. We're heading straight away to demographic segmentation. That is number 2. We're saying demographic segmentation is a method of dividing a market into smaller groups based on demographic characteristics. When we talk about demographic characteristics, we mean things like sex, that is of course gender. We mean things like age of the consumer group or of the market. We mean things about the income level of the market or the market participants, basically the customers. We mean the occupation, the type of work these people do, what is their education level, and what is the family size. So these demographic characteristics help us to determine how we are going to serve our customers in a particular segment. So I repeat, demographic segmentation is a method of dividing a market into smaller groups based on demographic characteristics. Demographic characteristics such as age, sex, income, occupation, education, family size, and so on and so forth. So according to age, we could divide them as teenagers, because we expect that teenagers will have similar behavior or they'll respond the same as they're known to be adolescents. Therefore, their needs are the same. And when we have these things of music festivals, you know, that can be their interest or attraction point, or anything you want to involve them, it must have music and so on and so forth. Then we can also say we have in that age, we have adults, we have those who are retired, we can segment them into retired adults and teenagers. For sex, we can segment them into male or female. Occupation-wise, we can say they are agriculturalists or industrialists, or they are traders, or they are students, or they are in the service sector, or they are households, housewives, or institutions, and so on and so forth. So institution-wise, we can say education institutions, religious institutions, because your target might vary, or the way you serve the institutions for education might vary from the way you serve the ones for religion. And income level-wise, we rate them according to the level of incomes that we think they might be having. and this could be given figures which may be from 500,000 or 1 million. Those who are in that category, those who are in the category of 10 million, those who are in the category of 11, and so on and so forth. Members, it's not easy. Some kind of, it's late actually. It's already 3 minutes to 10. So I'm already feeling some kind of dizziness. But we are going to try our best and make sure we finish. Then we can also talk about marital status under demographic segmentation. We have marital status. We can have young singles. We can have young married but no children. Young married, youngest child under 6. Young married, youngest child over 6. Older married with children. Older married with no children under 18. Older single, and so on and so forth. So we could, by marital status, we could also put them in those categories. We can also look at family size, big family sizes or small ones, because you might be targeting nuclear families or extended families, and the way you serve the nuclear family might be different from the way you serve the extended family. Education level also, as we know, is very important, because the people who have studied, their reasoning is different from those who have not studied. Therefore, we are also going to approach them for our marketing activities differently. We have race, where people come from is also important. We have religion is also important. We are saying that we should also be able to segment based on religion. Why? Because different religions have different values. Therefore, if we're able to segment them maybe into into those who are religious and those who are non-religious, then under religious we can say those who are Christians, those who are Muslims, those who are Muslims or who are non-Muslims, and so on and so forth. So all that has a way to play. So members, that has been the demographic segmentation, and I was saying that demographic segmentation is a method of dividing a market into smaller groups, but based on characteristics such as age, sex, income, occupation, education, and family size. Members, we're moving to the third one, and that is psychographic segmentation. We're saying that psychographic segmentation is a method of dividing a market into smaller groups based on psychological, social, and lifestyle characteristics. Psychological, social, and lifestyle characteristics. This type of segmentation helps businesses understand their customer values, attitudes, interests, and opinions. Under this method, consumers are classified into market segments on the basis of their psychological makeup, that is personality, attitude, and lifestyle. So members, when we talk about psychographic segmentation, it basically focuses on the intellect. It basically focuses on the psychology of the customers. So at this level, we seek to understand who our customers are in terms of the attitudes that they possess, whether they have positive attitudes towards our company, our product, or not, whether they're interested in our products or not, whether their opinions favor our products or they don't, because that alone can help us to form a segment based on the psychology of the consumers. Psychographic segmentation is similar to demographic segmentation, but it deals with characteristics that are more mental and emotional. So we're saying they are similar. Psychographic segmentation is similar to demographic, because all in all, it is looking at the consumers. It is looking at some characteristic about the consumers. And though the one for demographic was looking at things like age, sex, occupation, income level, marital status, family size, education level, and so on and so forth, the psychographic segmentation does not look into that. It looks into the psychology, reasons why people make certain decisions, what are the values that they hold dear, what are their interests, what is the opinion. All this we wish to understand. Not until we understand them, then we are not going to be able to segment successfully. But we are saying that also that the psychographic characteristics are more hard to understand because they are things of mental, because they are things that take place in the mind, though we may have capacity to predict them based on some other characteristics that we're able to possess, able to see. So these attributes may not be as easy to observe as demographics, but they can give valuable insights into the audience's motives, preferences, and needs. So understanding these aspects of your audience can help you to create content that appeals to them more effectively. Some examples of psychographic characteristics include personality traits, interests, beliefs, values, and attitudes. Of course, not forgetting lifestyle. So the types of psychographic segmentation include the following. One is lifestyle segmentation. Lifestyle segmentation divides the market into groups based on lifestyle characteristics such as active, that is a characteristic, such as health conscious. We have consumers who might be more health conscious than the others. We have those who are environmental aware. Environmentally, they are aware. So, but there are those who are environmental not aware. We can segregate the two because the motive they have towards that message or that communication is different from the others. So therefore, those who are environmentally aware and friendly must be in one group, and the others who are not able to be in this other group must be in another. We also have, apart from lifestyle segmentation, we have values segmentation. Values segmentation, meaning dividing a market into groups based on values such as conservative, liberal, or socially responsible. So we're saying psychological or psychographic segmentation can also look at the value, can also segment based on the values that people attach to certain things, to their culture, to the products, to others' products, and so on and so forth. So, other members might be conservative, meaning that they would be ready to maintain the old products that they have been using. They're not ready for any change. Another could be those who are liberal, those who are free, whether it is your product is there or is not there is not their issue. Anything for them is okay. Then we have those who are socially responsible. Those who are socially responsible and those who are not socially responsible. So I would say that also there's segmentation based on the values that the businesses possess. The next is attitude segmentation. We're saying attitude segmentation is dividing a market into groups based on attitudes such as positive, negative, or neutral attitudes. Or neutral what? Attitudes. Members, We are going to proceed. Hopefully, we shall end in the next 30 minutes, hopefully. So, interest segmentation is another. Interest segmentation looks at dividing a market into groups based on interests such as hobbies, sports, or entertainment. We have personality segmentation. We can also divide the market based on personality traits such as introverted, extroverted, or adventurous. Are we together? So personality segmentation looks at how the consumers express themselves. As we said, others can be introverted, meaning even if they're hard, they keep quiet. Even if the product is not good, they still keep quiet. They don't talk about it. They don't have problems. They avoid problems. Then we have extroverted. Extroverted, those who are open with anything, come what may. Then we also have adventurers. Of course, the adventurers are those who have that nature of trying to or wanting to move from one place to another. So when we find that people of the same psychographic element, then we can serve them better. If we find that the group or that particular segment is not having the same characteristics for a particular personality, then that may not be a segment. So for it to be a segment, all of them must have the same personality. All of them in that particular segment must have the same interest. They must have in a particular segment have the same attitude, lifestyle, of course, and the values. And lastly, members, we are going to look at behavioristic segmentation from the word behavior. From the word behavior, we're saying that behavioristic segmentation is a method of dividing a market into smaller groups based on consumer behaviors. Based on consumer behaviors such as purchasing habits, user rates, and loyalty. This one looks to be self-explanatory. Because when it comes to behavioristic segmentation, we look at how the customer has been behaving with our business, and how they have been behaving with our business gives us room to check on the types of behavioristic segmentation. And that begins with the purchase Henry segmentation. Purchase Henry segmentation, meaning dividing a market into groups based on purchase history. And as frequent buyers or one-time customers. So we can segment them into those who frequently buy our products, or those whom we can consider that once in a while they buy our products. We can segment those or divide that. Another could be user rate segmentation, dividing a market into groups based on user rates such as heavy, medium, and light users. So we can also segment them into these different categories as medium, light users, medium users, and so on and so forth. Then we can also look at their loyalty, how loyal they are to us. As we know, MTN has loyal segments. As a matter of fact, I'm one of them who are very loyal to MTN. Why? Because I feel their services are better. I'm not campaigning for MTN. So if you're working for Airtel, just know yours is also good. Only that I rarely use their services. So loyalty is very key when it comes to segmentation. So we shall always try to segment based on whether they are loyal or they are not loyal, whether they are fully loyal or they are partially loyal. We can be able to do that. Another could be benefits sort segmentation. We can segment the market into the benefits that they are seeking to find in the market, and when we get to know, of course, their demands, then we can serve them better. Okay, we can serve them better. Members, we are about to stop. We have already used 1 hour. You are going to read about benefits of marketing segmentation, why we do marketing segmentation, and briefly we are going to say that it offers greater company focus, because when you segment, then you are able to identify particularly the market, the nature of the markets that you are dealing with. 2 is that it helps to better serve customer needs and wants. Of course, when we have done that research, underground research, then we are able to understand their needs and therefore serve them better. Market competitiveness. When a company is focusing on a specific segment, their market competitiveness increases, which in turn will lead to a higher ROI. The company is focused on specific segments and learns everything they need to know about that segment to market their products to them. So market competitiveness is very important as a factor that is caused by market segmentation. Why do we become competitive, or how do we become competitive? One is that since with the little or limited resources that we have, we are only able to serve particular groups of people, not every group of people. And that makes us very competitive as we grow in size and capacity. Then we have market expansion. Of course, when we do that, we are able to expand our market, since we know which groups of people from which region require our products. Targeted communication, when we, as another benefit, when we know the people we want, then we are going to target them very well. So members, that is all about market segmentation. The second part that I will not talk much about is targeting. And we're saying targeting, also known as multi-segment target marketing, is also a marketing strategy that involves identifying personas or markets for specific content. Companies use target marketing to learn more about their consumers and thus create advertisements for specified groups to maximize response. We're saying this strategy is much more effective than mass marketing, as it targets the consumers most likely to interact with the brand or product based on a buyer persona. Targeting in marketing involves breaking the target audience into segments and then designing marketing activities that will reach the segments most likely to be responsive to your efforts. Members, as you can see, when we talk about targeting, targeting comes after we have already segmented the market. That means we have already divided the market and we have known their needs, we have known their desires, we have known their demands, and we have known their capabilities, we have known where they are located, and so forth and so on. Now, after we have done that at segmentation stage, then we move to targeting. Meaning that when it comes to targeting, we are going to select some segments from among the different segments that we have created and deal only with those segments, which we call as targets. So targets are the segments that we have decided to serve our products or services in, that we feel are better than the others. So when we talk about targeting, it may not be one target market. It might be more than one target market, or more than 3 target markets, or whatever it is. But all what we know is that you're not going to serve everyone, and because you're not going to serve everyone, and because you're not going to be able to serve all the segments, then you are supposed to select some segments to serve. And that's what we call as market targeting, or targeted marketing. So as simple as that. When we form the segments, and then from the segments we pick those that we feel we can work with, then those form the what? They form our targets. So we're saying that it is a 3-step process marketers use to find the right segment to target. To find the right segment to target. Finding the right segment to what? To target. So STP in marketing is the name of this process, and the acronym stands for segmentation, targeting, and promotional. So what it means that when it comes to targeting, the first thing is to segment. After we segment, the next item is to target, meaning after segmenting we go for those ones we are able to serve, or the ones we want to serve, which we call as targets. Then after that we do a promotion. So once we know where we are landing, once we know where we are heading to, then we are going to promote our product in that target market. In the segments that we formed, the target we chose, we are going to do our promotions. I hope that we are together. The other is called market positioning. Market positioning refers to the ability to influence consumer perception regarding a brand or product relative to competitors. So when we talk about market positioning, it's about the ability to influence consumer perception So, how we want to be perceived in the minds of the consumers is what we are saying, or what we are calling as positioning. Okay? How you have shaped the minds of the people that they believe certain things about you. And those things are good that they think about them in that manner. We say you have positioned yourself in the minds of the customers. So, without wasting time, we might look at some of these areas, what we call as types of positioning strategies. I repeat that positioning is where your product or item or service stands in relation to others offering similar products and services in the marketplace, as well as the mind of the consumer. For example, a handbag maker may position itself as a luxury status symbol. A luxury status symbol. That is how it may position itself. I was thinking something, so don't worry. As I said, we are about to conclude. So the types of positioning strategies are: 1, product attributes and benefits. Associating your product or brand with certain characteristics or with certain beneficial value. So you can position yourself as one who provides products that are unique, and of course that uniqueness comes with the value that is in it or embedded in it. So therefore it is also different. So you can position yourself as the one who provides who is the only one providing certain types of products. Then it can be product price segmentation, positioning. So we can position ourselves as competitive pricing business, meaning our prices, we can position ourselves as people who price competitively in the market, or even that we are the ones who set the market prices and others follow, or we are price setters, others follow what we have set. We can also position ourselves in the minds of the customers in terms of product quality. The moment the customers believe that we are the only ones who meet their quality standards, then that means we have a positive positioning in their minds. We have product use and application, associating your brand or product with a specific use. We can also say that our product is used for a particular kind of work, a unique sickness, a unique feeling, and so on and so forth. So that can also be the way we position ourselves in the market. Then we have efficiency, meaning we can make or position ourselves to make customers believe that we are actually the most efficient, by of course proving that we are really efficient by being very available whenever we are needed, by our products being readily available in the market, so that anywhere we can be able to get them. So members, those were the 4 items that I had wished to discuss. We have used 1.25 hours. There are some small areas that I believe you're going to be able to read. Just something like, let me see, something like 2 pages. It's not much. It's all about this other new concept called market repositioning. Then basically its benefits is what would come next. So members, with this I want to say that thanks for taking your time to attend this lecture. I know that there have been some disturbances along the way. Of course, as I said, it's already late. I'm recording this lecture and it's already almost approaching 10:30. And therefore, having it late might have its consequences. So whatever you have seen here that you may not like
might be as a result of the late lecture. But I saw it fit that regardless of what the impacts will be, that I needed to deliver this lecture. So Alhamdulillah, I have been able to provide it. Dear colleagues, when you will have questions about the lecture, when we shall meet in the class, then you will ask them, inshallah. Thanks very much. I beg to stop here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.